Honorable Karua, you talked a lot about what we can do. As a diaspora, and we have had some of these conversations, we feel that in spite of all the remittances that we have continued to provide to prop up that government, we still do not have a voice. And we have talked about the various ways that we can be included in the process. One of my questions was, what would a PLP presidency provide to the diaspora? And number two, what would 100 days, the first 100 days of a PLP government look like? I will also take 2 more questions, and then we'll let you answer.
Thank you so much. My name is Timothy Ndegwa. When I see you, I see my mother, my sister, and my daughter. Then I know the term Gen Z came out last year, but I think you are the first Gen Z when you walked out in front of Moi. That was so daring. I mean, like, fista putadu, and you walked out. My political question is this, and you alluded to that. Sometimes a week or so ago, S.K. Mashari was talking somewhere in a funeral, and he talked about how corrupted or doctored our electro machines are. You've been you've been in both sides during the Kibaki time and the other times. What is it that goes on there, or what is it that can be changed that you know of? Because you can vote, but most of the time you vote and the following day we see you in court defending somebody who lost. So on the electoral machine, what is it that you can do to help?
Thank you, Dengwa. Let's try and keep our questions short so we can have as many people as possible ask their questions. Thank you.
Looking back during Moi's time, there are 2 times that the opposition lost because they could not unite. And it was so clear they were going to win if only they had united. Are you now telling us that the opposition is going to unite, and whoever they come up with, even if it is not you, you will support them? Because I think that's the only time that we'll be able to defeat this regime.
Thank you. As you can tell, mambo yamechemuka. People are very passionate. Let's take one more here, and then we'll let you answer.
Yeah, thank you. So this is my question here. You have spoken of us having conversations with our people back home. And I remember before the last elections, I and some of my friends here tried to do the same, quite long before the election. And people were very receptive before, like long before the election came. But when it was almost the time to have elections, you could tell that there was a euphoria, that was kind of moving people. There was no reasoning, there was no logic. There were a lot of lies. And I think it went like, if a lie is repeated so many times, it appeared to be the truth, So my question is this. I know you have faced this many times, especially even with your book, like Going Against the Tide. Many of us are not as strong as you are. I remember I got so much insults, and especially on the social media. I had to delete my Facebook account. I remember. It was bad. We could see this coming. We are not here just out of nowhere. We made this decision. So how do we have these conversations? How do we are able to convince people that you should put yourself in the center of the election? It's not about euphoria. It's not about my friend is voting for this person, so I'm voting for them, or we are voting for this person. Why am I doing this? How do we do that? Then second, the kind of politics that we have in Kenya today is greed-driven. Money is stolen from the treasury. It has now transformed to borrowing and to steal, and the money is actually stolen even before it gets to Kenya. Now it has even come to begging, like going foreign trips to beg, to steal. And the money now, how is it used? It's used to bribe politicians, even bribe people to come and cheer somebody in a political meeting, in a political gathering. Now, my question is this, because this is not the first time that this has happened, and you have been very consistent in how you do your things. You could have chosen to be bought, to become a multi-trillionaire with stolen money. How are you able to do this? How are you able to be consistent and retain your values? Thank you.
Thank you. Again, let's try and keep it to one question only. We'll take this one and then we'll let Honorable respond and then we'll come back. Thank you.
My name is Mzee Wesley. My question is political. How strong is your resolve to become the president of Kenya, knowing that the current president, William Ruto, is a very serious political operative who will buy anybody just to retain power? Because we have seen an opposition and an uprising of Gen Z that came up, and most of those formidable figures now have, they have died off. Recently, we have seen that Morara Kebaso is no longer even online. So how strong is your resolve to face the bull by its horns and take the presidency? And two, are you ready to compromise? Because you are a gem for Kenya. Are you ready to compromise and even go to serve the people of Kirinyaga? Because that is like low-hanging fruit. Thank you.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa?
Mercy, you asked what my administration, the Karua administration, would do. I'm trying to read my handwriting. You asked what to ensure. Oh, I'm not. What was your question? I wrote the way I wrote.
The diaspora question?
Oh, the diaspora. Yes, the diaspora question. And my short answer is that I would ensure diaspora participates not only in governance, but in government. Because if you make an appointment in government of a person who is from diaspora, it means that when you are discussing diaspora issues, there is a person who knows from lived experience. You cannot represent people's interests when you really do not exactly understand what they are. And it's the same argument we use as women, that unless there is a critical mass of us, you cannot be able to understand us. The same with the youth, with people with disability. Diaspora is a special category in any country. It, like everybody else, requires representation in government, not just in governance. I was asked about what SK Macharia said recently. SK, my good friend, was talking from his personal perspective as a member of ODM. He is talking about the 2007 elections. I was a member of PNU. I'll tell you to read Krieger report, they are online, Waki report. You will see that there was actual exaggeration of votes from both ODM strongholds and the PNU strongholds. Two thieves trying to steal each other. Where do they get the righteous indignation to claim stolen election when you are a thief trying to steal from the other? In vernacular, we say, Moshemia korireo, mokungi. Yani, the creeping one find a crawling one. And one outsmarted the other. The truth of the matter, those were not honest elections. I defended Kibaki with the courage of my conviction, because at that moment, all I knew is how I had been elected, honestly. By the way, I never faced a petition the 4 times I was elected, because my ballots were counted normally. But now in hindsight, and having gone through the whatever, I know that there are places ballots were stuffed. When Kaboko was telling me that his election was stolen by Kanu in Thika, in Juja, the whole of Juja and Thika were one constituency. I didn't quite believe him because George Thuo, who had won, was also a friend. But when they went to counting, the court nullified George Thuo's election. And we defeated Uhuru and his KANU that election. We got Kabogo re-elected in Kenya. So I know for a fact there was fiddling of votes in Juja the way ODM was claiming. In Chepalungu, when I stayed overnight at KICC, the votes of Chepalungu had been listed as 337,000, which was more than the population of Chepalungu at that time. When I raised with IEBC, they told me, and like a fool, I believed, because that time I didn't know there was massive rigging. They said it's a typographical error. They brought an adjusted sheet showing 37,000, and they said they would deduct 300,000 from Raila's votes. I'll give you only those two examples, and also tell you that Kasipul Kabondo had voted 115%. Those who were analyzing said any station that turns up more than 90,000, even 90% is impossible. But anyone that turns above 90, you remove, because that is an impossibility. So the situation Macharia is talking about, he's talking as a supporter of Raila, who had put in his energy and whatever. He is therefore talking about whatever he was told by the PNU without, either maybe he didn't know or an akanyanga break on what ODM did. I was a staunch supporter of PNU, but they had not told me what was happening. If I had left Kirinyaga, and you read in my book, 20,000 people had not voted in Gishugu. They tried to get me out of it. I refused and told them not to call me again. I had defeated my closest opponent with 12,000 votes. Had I left and they take 15,000 to add Kibaki and add to my opponent, they could then have said, amenishinda nangapi? 3,000. That's how elections are stolen. But something was telling me you cannot live without your certificate. So we now know what happened. I was courageous, able to hold a whole hall alone, because now I know what wa ODM walikuwa wondering, kwani she knows. I didn't know. I just thought people had been elected the way I was elected. So to change this rigging machine, let the votes not be close. How did Kibaki win in 2002? By, not 2002, 2002. Yeah, it's 2002. Not 1992. He won because the vote was overwhelming. If it had been close, if members of parliament were close, KANU angefinya finya. Already Moi was being told by some of his people not to give up. But Uhuru went and made a concession speech. And even if they had added votes, they had no parliamentarians. They could not have survived the first day in parliament. Tungefanya motion of no confidence. So the only thing is for Kenyans to be serious. Unite, liberate is our slogan. You will not liberate without uniting. And yes, you asked. I very much want to be the CEO of Kenya because I feel strongly I can withstand the pressure. I actually say I was made for hard times, not for normal times. So I feel I can do this, and I am ready for it. But after all that, should it be found that somebody else should be the flag bearer, Kenya is greater than any one of us. I would rather step back and not see my country sink. I have not been in an elected position since 2012. My voice has not diminished. It's not election, it's not a formal position or money that moves me. It's a commitment, a calling within me. I can still serve you even not elected. But I am putting my bid, not as a joke. Mugendi, this is very serious. I'm not giving at it before I start. There has to be a first, and that first you're looking at her. Yes. Thank you. I want to agree entirely that 1992 and 97, opposition lost to Moi. Moi was winning with 33%. Unaona ni kama kurogwa tulikuwa tumerogwa. Wakati huu hatutarogwa. We shall pray, we shall act, and your voices will be so loud, warning those of us who might want to deviate, that ukienda uende peke yako na hatukujui tena. If your voices are loud enough, we shall remain on course. The other one is about, I want to say also, in 2022, if you remember, Raila took time, Raila and Uhuru, to decide what they want. Going around the country, crafting Azimio, not saying whether he will run or not. Then towards the end, when Ruto ameenda ako karibu kumaliza, ndio Azimio imeingia. Me as a candidate, I came in 2.5 months to the elections. It is a miracle that we did so much, caught up with a group that was permanently ahead. But after I came in, we really worked and we caught up and we surpassed them. And yes, I'll tell you without batting an eyelid, we won. We not only had 187 seats in parliament to their 160-something, and that's why the court is repeatedly saying Azimio was the majority party. We also had 27 counties to their 20, and I'll tell you how I count that. The actual counties where Azimio has governors is 24, okay? But Taita Taveta has an independent governor who had been rigged in Azimio, not in Azimio, in ODM nominations. He went as an independent. He won, but the county voted for Azimio. Count that as the 25th. Nairobi, Sakaja won. Or they said he won. But the vote was Azimio vote. Tumeenda sasa 26. Inaitwaje? Narok. Narok, the governor won. They could not announce a different governor in Narok, Masai wangewamaliza. Contrary to the law, the governor election of Narok, gubernatorial election of Narok, was announced at Bomas, which is against the law. But the county voted for Azimio, although they announced a KK governor. Isn't that 27? Kirinyaga was an independent who had won. They returned to Waiguru, but the county had voted for KK. Because the counties, Meru is an independent governor who won, Kawira, whom they removed recently. But the county voted for KK. That is how their counties are 20. Na zetu sikiwa 27. It's an impossibility. For us to have 27 counties, more members of parliament, and they win. And if you want to know the big counties in Meru, Kiambu, they won those hands down. Other two big counties, Kakamega and Nairobi, Azimio won those. So you cannot say it's that we want small entities. We want big counties. We want that vote. To avoid that, my dears, put in your effort, I put mine. Let us organize Kenya, county by polling station by polling station, ward by ward, county by county. Let the overwhelming vote be on one side. Let us relive our experiences and what we need to get out of the whole. I believe if we do it in the coming 1 year, things are going to change. You do not want cartels, fund political parties and fund candidates. Not sio pesa ya kupeana, logistics only. And adopt polling stations on voting day. Let us safeguard the votes. They will have nowhere to hide. We are intent on winning this one. I think I have one more. Wesley, you asked my resolve. At 67, believe you me, I must have an amount of resolve difficult to move. I survived Moi era, survived Kibaki, and even walked out of a government I had fought for. I have walked out of Azimio. I'm still going strong. And I've said, for 12 years, I've not been in a formal position. My voice does not diminish, it increases. If that is not resolved, I don't know what is, my dear.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. This is very candid discussions. Oh, you didn't answer his question. Not him. There were two questions here.
What was the other one? I wrote Wednesday. That's why I encourage you to make it short.
Yeah. He asked,
Keep it short.
Yeah, it was about the conversations with our families back home. It's not easy to have the conversations. And yeah.
okay, thank you.
I'm talking of conversations, but I want to tell you this. I want to tell you this. If you remember, when I became the Azimio running mate and went to Mount Kenya, for the past 5 days, I had to brave serious hostility and shouting. I was able to calm them down eventually by just telling them a few truths, that the vote is in your pocket. I cannot raid your pocket to take away your vote. Listen to me and give your vote to whoever you want. Number 2, coming to my meeting is not compulsory. Go away and hold your meeting with your candidate, wherever you choose. And let those who want to listen to me, listen to me. At the end of 5 days, there was no more noise in Mount Kenya. Candidates were able to walk free. Sometimes we become so cowardly to meet opposition, even insults. Answer that person even on social media, calmly. And keep on to your lane. You will find others who will help you push back. Let us have the courage of our conviction. If you are convinced, let it be. You may not have to go and fight the masses like I had to and endure shouting from the masses, but you can do with your keyboard. And you can even tell a colleague who is on the same forum to help you. That is what we normally do, so that you are more voices. Let us encourage one another. Are you ready to give up on your life, on your space? Because it's about our lives. A country is not like a wardrobe. You are out here. Is your entire family out here? Are all your friends out here? No. You remain connected to Kenya, whatever you do. Let us fight for our space. I'm fighting for my space. I should be retired, enjoying retirement. But I want to see a better atmosphere for my children to raise their children and for my grandchildren. And my children are people of the age of my children. Anybody who can be my child is my child. Any Kenyan who can be my grandchild is my grandchild. We have a common fate. We are the majority. People of goodwill are always the majority. Let us rise up for our space. Let us step up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you are still very young, Honorable Martha. At whatever age, we have a president here in America who is way older than you. So, amen, so you can do it. We're going to do some gender balances here. The last session, we had no lady. So let me start with a lady. And we're also going to go to the back.